Hello, 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 my friends. It is so good to see you again. I just wanted to make sure that I was alive. I believe that I am. Anyway, how are you? How are you? Um, Before we even get started, I just want to say this. I see you. I love you, and you've got this. We've got this. I don't know if you're like me, but the energies feel pretty intense right now. Just our inside, just life. And so I just wanted to say that because we're all in this together. And as we begin, let's just begin with our holy breath as we witness this breath arising from nothing in every breath. This breath that could only be God's breath living and breathing within me. Just say it out loud. I am the breath of God. Like the the life, the breath, it's all the one breath. And it's you, and you cannot fail. Your absolute success. So, as we just align with that knowing, just breathe it in. Just breathe it in and totally relax into the knowing how held you are, how seen and loved you are, and that everything is working out for you because life is always working out for us, regardless of what the circumstances look like right now in the appearance of our reality. I just had to say that because um, it is what's coming up for me. And I feel like it's in the collective energy. It's like, oh, and I remembered this morning, on my walk that we are in the energy of the wood snake, remember? And as we move towards this eclipse, and I really am not that educated in astrology. I totally know that it's all part of us and everything. But anyway, um, all I know is that, so many are saying like it's intense right now. We're heading up to one of the most powerful eclipses that is going to eclipse things out of our lives that are not helping us, that are not supporting us to become more. So this morning on my walk, I'm just like, oh, you know what? That is really what I believe is happening right now within me and probably within you and the collective. It's like we're in that space where when the snake sheds its skin, it's uncomfortable. And I was thinking this morning, does the snake shed its skin um sleeping when it's asleep? And no, it's the snake will shed its skin while it is moving. And I don't know for sure, but doesn't a snake just move forward? I'm not sure, but I think it does. So as long as we just keep moving forward, our heart to the ground, like listening to our next step and just trusting it as we shed the skin. So I wasn't quite sure when I had that thought that a, s- does a snake shed its skin when it's sleeping? So I looked it up, and as I looked it up, it it said this, and I'm like, oh, it's so perfect. So the snake sheds its skin to grow more, but also to remove parasites. Oh my gosh. Like, how many things are like parasites on our energy that are not helping us at all? Like, they're eating away at us. And all we have to do is like trust the shedding of our skin that is being done for us to move into this next version of ourselves. So I hope that that helps. If you're moving through some things that just don't feel comfortable, and you just can't grasp what's actually happening. I hope that helps because we're just becoming more of this shiny newness. So it's so fascinating. Um, uh, Yesterday morning, I pulled out this like shadow box, third dimensional collage that I had made years ago, literally, probably like 7 or 8 years ago, that long ago. And I always kept it because I loved it, but I'd kind of put it back besides, under some things. And I don't know, except that I was guided, of course, to pull this out. And I looked at it and I couldn't believe what was on there. Like, it was so relevant for what I needed today. I had um, three words on there. One was trust, and then success. So I had written success. Um, I hadn't written it, but it was like letters of success, starting with the S on trust. And then hanging on the hook of the S that trust and success share together, I had hung a rose quartz heart. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, that's the key to success, period. It's the key to trust, to even get us to trust, is to totally move in to the space of our heart. That is our success. That will guide us. And also, yeah, like I said, it's like we don't trust until we're in our heart and our mind is quiet. Like, there's just no trusting because our mind has got us spinning and trying to figure out things, and there's absolutely no trust in that. So it was just so perfect. And the other word was intuition, above some dolphins, a dolphin that was just like dancing. And it's like, wow, we need to lighten up and play in this and trust our intuition because, really, all of creation is intuitive, but dolphins are really known for that intuition and that play. And so it was so great. And you know what else was so fascinating? And I'm sure there was symbology when I made this, and I just can't quite bring it back. But I had just, there was one sheaf of wheat that I had underneath the last T of trust. And maybe that was about just trust the growth cycles and the reaping of the wheat. I'm sure that's what it was. So anyway, but guess what? 7, 8 years later, whenever it was, I am living in the middle of rolling wheat fields. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it was so fun to pull that out. And it was such a reminder that life is always working for us. And even way back then, when I was a completely different version of myself, my heart, the truth of who I was intact, still there, still creating a new version, the next version. And that's where the shedding of the snake wove into this conversation. It's like um uh, that I'm I'm shedding then into a new version, and I'm shedding now into a new version of myself. And and I'm still like, I'm already that version. That's what I want to say. I'm already that version. And so I get to just step into it. So it's so funny because I literally had something else to share with you because last week I just had this like amazing day where it started out like, oh, and then I go on my walk and then I just had all this stuff I like that came through to me. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to talk about the next episode where we connect the next tea with Teresa. But guess what? It's not what I'm sharing. I'm sharing this. And I knew that I wasn't going to necessarily be sharing what I thought I was going to be sharing. And when I was on my walk this morning, I'm just like, what on earth? Like, what am I going to share today? My prayer is that it's words of life. And I know that for it to be words of life, the words must come from my heart. It can't be from anything I'm necessarily thinking. It must be from the authenticity of my heart, because the heart is what beats life through our body, and the heartbeat of all of us. Like when our words come from there, it is breathing and proclaiming life. So that's my prayer. And so I'm like, what on earth? And so it's like, okay, this is what's up for me. This is really alive for me. And just as I was walking just a few paces down this place where I walk, to the left, I saw this enormous bird take flight. And yeah, there's a lot of Canadian geese in this area. And my first thought was, is that a Canadian goose by itself just taking off? It is like, no, that doesn't have the energy of a goose. It's big like a goose, but it's not even flying like a goose. That is a heron. And there's not many herons in this area that you see very often. And they're always, no matter what, they're always hard to spot to me because they so blend in with the environment. But so when I saw that heron, well, it really touched me because one of Don's totems, I know my husband Don, I know was a heron. And because when we lived in Oregon, oh my goodness, they would like fly next to his car. They would fly right in front of him when we were on walks, on the by the river, and he loved them. Like I just know. So I just like, that's Ton. And it felt so amazing. It felt, to have him so close and to know, he's on the other side and he's seeing everything. And he knows what I can't see right now. And he's just there. He's just like, everything's okay. You've got this. It just felt really good. But okay, not bad, but I am I'm continuing to walk and I'm just feeling all this, just this sense of that heron. And then my mind goes, are you sure that's a heron? Wait a minute. And so I said, come on, Don, just circle back around and just come close to me again so that I can know that that was a heron. And, it's just flying over the hills. And I'm like, hmm, remember that collage where you had that rose quartz heart that was hanging on the S of trust and success? You need to trust your knowing. You need to trust that you knew that that was a heron, and you don't need proof that that was a heron because you know deep inside that knowing, that truth that that was. Because knowing Knowing is like you feel it in your heart. You know that you know. That's the knowing of your heart. You can feel it in every part of your body, or, and maybe more parts than others, but there is this deep sense inside the center of your being that you know that you know. And we don't need, our mind always needs to have, oh, I need to have that confirmation that what I thought, what I'm feeling is true. And I'm really becoming more aware how we must step into the truth of our own knowing and not put it out there to compare, to ask proof of, because we know, we know, and we were born to know. We came in with our heart in the womb was created first. Our heart knows. And all of the programming and all of the agendas and all that's happening right now is really working hard and has been for eons to cut us off from the truth of our knowing. Because if we are in our knowing that we are the heartbeat and the breath of God, and that all is possible for every single one of us. Like we came in here as creators to create more God, because we are God in human form. We are the thought forms of God. We are the eyes of God. We are the ears of God. We are the essence of God. Like, what are we seeing through these, our eyes of God? Are we seeing love? Are we looking for love? Are we hearing God in everyone and everything? Because it's there. Somewhere there's a spark of love, and we get to be God in human form, creating and living more God. And when we are in that power of knowing, nothing can stop us to live the life that we were born to live. And what is that life? That's the life of the heart desires that we feel deep inside of us. It's that new version of us that we know exists inside of us and that we know is us and that we keep bumping up. But right now, guess what? It's just the old skin. And you get to keep moving forward and know that it's shedding. So on my walk this morning, I thought to myself, so how would you be walking if you knew, not if you knew that if you were just already that version of you? Like you can feel that version. You know that timeline is right there. You're walking it. It's brilliant and it's bright and it's here. So how are you walking? And when you are in that version where nothing is stopping, like you're there, you're walking with your heart open, like your shoulders are relaxed and your heart's open, and it feels so good. I remember when, wow, back in October, when I wanted to somehow convey my vision to unite the world with this worldwide crystal labyrinth where I could put on my property where there were 1,000 crystal blessings paired with 1,000 handwritten blessings or just blessings sent in that were in native tongues that we could tie with a crystal and pair it with a blessing and put it underneath the surface of this labyrinth made of clay papers, this labyrinth path, so that there would be the whole world singing the one song, blessing us for those who came here to walk this labyrinth. Like the whole world is invited to come walk this labyrinth. And those who can't walk this labyrinth um, uh, physically, they can always tap in and walk it remotely. Like, I mean, I'm so excited about this vision. But okay, I got distracted. So I'm like, how can I kind of like put this together so people can get it, you know? So on Instagram, I did a reel and I wrote it out as best I could. And I've pinned it to my Instagram. But all of this to say that when I called my sister-in-law, who's an amazing ballet dancer, and she's just incredibly creative and has the biggest heart and is awesome. Anyway, so I call her up and I say, hey, can we meet at this specific labyrinth? Because I have this idea. And she's like, sure. So I'm telling her my idea, and she's taking, videos of my idea as I'm walking this labyrinth that's already built, to kind of show people, that I'm walking a labyrinth. And so she's like, okay, Teresa, you need to like step it up. Like when we're in dance, she said, we were always taught to dance with our heart open. And that was so amazing to me because, yes, that's how we walk this labyrinth of life. We walk with our heart open and we dance with our heart open. Like we get to play with our heart open. We are meant to be in this life, to play full out, to know that all our needs are met, that no matter what it looks like, that it feels like we might be losing something, it's only a shedding of the version that we are. It's a shedding of the parasites that are keeping us back from being this next version. And we're always going to be having more versions of ourselves. And so we just get to play in this and enjoy the new version that's evolving and happening now. So, wow. Thank you. Thank you for being here and just know how loved you are, how beautiful and brilliant you are, how every heart desire is you. It is your soul that came here to live those desires. It doesn't matter what they are. If they make your heart sing just the thought of it, it was a seed planted before you even came here. It's the soul of you. It's the very essence of who you are that you get to be and play and experience. So I don't know if I've said this before, but if I did, it's okay because I just read this recently. So like your body needs breath to breathe and stay alive and yeah, to just function. But yeah, okay, that. um, your soul, your soul needs faith to stay alive, to evolve, to continue to have more life, experience more life. Like our soul is inside this human, beautiful, magnificent temple, miraculous temple of our body. That's where our soul is housed. It's all one. And we get to experience this life that our soul wants us to experience in this life, in this human body that is an image and a creation of God as God, like in human form. Like it's so amazing. So get excited, even though it might be uncomfortable. Just know you're just moving and keep moving. Don't fall asleep. Keep moving. I mean, do fall asleep, at night and relax and be in a relaxed state while you're moving, but keep moving forward and know it's just the old skin shedding and the new skin is arising and you get to play and I just see this glittering, glowing new skin that you get to move in life in and enjoy life in and experience your soul in. So I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.